Hey, this is BJ. Thanks for listening to our show's podcast. If you're a fan of all things geeky, you should check out my other podcast, BJ Shea's Geek Nation. We have new episodes every day, and you can check it out at bjgeeknation.com. 99.9 KISW, the Rock of Seattle.
BJ, I'm very excited. Our next guest, one of the many great bands that's going to be at Pain in the Grass. Please welcome to the show from Avenged Sevenfold, it's Zacky Vengance.
What's going on, man?
What's up, Zacky?
What's up, Zacky? Good morning, man. Thanks for coming on the show.
Oh, my pleasure.
So, Zacky, we were so stoked because, I mean, we have a hell of a show on the 6th and 7th of September at a great locale, which we were told by some fans that you guys have played at the Gorge. I don't know if you remember this beautiful place out in the middle of nowhere, but it's like a Grand Canyon-like setting.
Oh, man, how could I forget? Yeah, we played there a couple times quite a while ago, back on the Vans Warped Tour in our early days.
Yeah.
And it was unbelievable. You guys are lucky to have such an incredible venue.
It's such a weird thing to have the Warped Tour at the Gorge because it's like you get the punk rock spirit and then you got like this gorgeous setting. It's such a funny combination.
Oh, absolutely. I think most people probably just go to check out the setting instead of some of the stuff.
We've heard it compared to like Red Rocks out in Colorado before. Are there other places in the country that are even close to, say, those two venues?
Not even kind of.
Wow.
There's nothing like it. Funny enough, this morning I woke up and I jumped on my computer and pulled up pictures to show my girlfriend who's never actually seen it, and I was like, you got to get a look at this place.
Oh, wow.
It's absolutely incredible.
So the $1 million question then has to be, which one do you think is a more awesome place to play, Red Rocks or the Gorge?
Oh, the Gorge, man. And I was born up in Olympia, Washington, too, so I'm a little bit biased.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, we were wondering. We saw that on Google. It says you're from Olympia, and then we looked everywhere else. We couldn't tell if that was true or not. So you are a local boy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, how do you get back to Olympia that much?
Not too often. Just passing through on tour, and I was trying to make it a stop. I also lived up in Puyallup for
we're neighbors.
for about a year. Oh, cool.
South Hill, represent.
Very cool.
Then I got the $2 million question. When you go back to Olympia, do you hit up Old School Pizza?
There you go.
Oh, man, I try and work on my my boyish figure, so I can't. But
well, Zacky, we knew there was a reason for all that great culture in Avenged Sevenfold. We knew it had to be the Washington flavor.
Oh man, absolutely.
And I'll tell you, Zacky, what I love about you is because look, I'm an older guy, and I loved punk. I loved punk back in the Generation X days, and I'm thinking, who's this young dude who's got such a love for punk that you've been able to have that big influence on Avenged Sevenfold? I love it because you know what, I loved it. I love seeing that rolled into what you guys have done because it's a lost art, punk, if you ask me.
Well, dude, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's basically just being a product of my surroundings. Like I said, when I had moved up in Puyallup right around the time when, Seattle's music scene was one of the strongest on the planet, and bringing bands like, Alice in Chains, and it was just so massive. And at the same time, when you would go, through Seattle, you'd see people walking around with mohawks and Liberty Spikes and Black Flag shirts.
Yeah.
And so you had this great heavy rock scene, this grunge scene. You had bands like Soundgarden. You had punk rockers. It was super diverse. And then right about the time when I started high school, I moved back down to Southern California in Orange County, which, has bred bands like, Bad Religion, Social Distortion. So I was just completely surrounded with all this, punk rock culture and stuff. And, there's obviously bands like Guns N' Roses and, being from Hollywood and Los Angeles that you're familiar with. And then we took like all our influences as far as heavy metal go, as far as Black Sabbath and Metallica, and we just started mixing them together. We didn't know any better. Like, I didn't realize that there was a difference between the punk rock scene and the metal scene, and I didn't realize there was a divide. I just knew I loved the style of aggressive music, and That's where it came from.
I'll tell you, Zacky, it's funny because you bring up the OC, which I'm pretty familiar with that area, and it is an area where, boy, it makes you want to be rebellious. Because I got some friends that that big shopping area they call, which is called Fashion Island, and everybody calls it Fascist Island down there. It is pretty cool that you're in the middle of all that. A lot of plastic nature, and probably a lot of folks lying, and you're like, did you have that? Where it's like, I got to fight against this because it is so not a real area of the world or even real humanity.
Yeah, it's definitely a weird place because you go on TV and you see television shows like The Real Housewives of Orange County, and you see, these shows, and it's so crazy to me because, having grown up all over the country when I was young, and the world for that matter, you don't see a whole lot like that. And a lot of that stuff that you see is kind of real here. So growing up and being, my family never had much. We weren't part of the, elite Newport Beach, high society. So we came and had, a modest living. And when I grew up in Huntington Beach, all my friends were in the same boat as me. Our parents all worked really hard for the small houses that we grew up in and stuff. But we never took any of it for granted. We were definitely the rebellious kids. And we found comfort in each other. And then we found, that there was a lot of kids like us out there. And we started connecting and playing music because we loved it. And there's fans out there that appreciated what we were doing. And, it's really, really awesome because, there's a lot of other bands that felt the same way that we did before us, that got in the garage and played a bunch of loud music and did some amazing things as well.
And we're talking with Zacky Vengance, who's going to avenge Sevenfold at Pain in the Grass, September 6th and 7th at the Gorge. Tickets go on sale Friday, 10 a.m. through livenation.com. And Zacky, I'm on your Twitter, and I saw your review of the Prince concert, and I actually had a couple buddies who saw Prince here when he played, and he played in a small venue here, and I'm sure he did the same where you saw him. And I like what you wrote. You said, I went to see Prince last night, didn't like the set, left early, felt slightly cheated, yet I respect him more, # do what you love. And being a guy that's in a band, and I know I've played in bands in the past, and you hit certain points where you get sick of playing certain songs, but then you're like, well, is there an obligation to play these songs for our audience because, they're paying good money to see it, and clearly when you go see Prince, you're hoping that he's going to play the songs that you know and love. Do you guys feel that in Avenged Sevenfold, that there's certain songs that, man, I wish we could take this off the set list, but your Avenged Sevenfold fans are going to be pissed if you do?
Absolutely. And, there's times where when you play, 200 to 300 concerts in the course of a touring cycle, to promote an album, you feel as though you've exhausted those songs and you get tired. But the thing that I always try and remember is that we're always going to new cities, and sometimes there are a lot of people in the crowd that might be their first time seeing us that really do love those songs. So it's as special to them as it is to us the first time we play it. So I always want to make sure people feel like they get the songs that they want to hear. And we obviously can't play everyone's favorite songs, and you never know what songs people want to hear. But we always do try and mix it up for that matter. I don't think we're at the point in our career where we could just, throw a curveball and go and play all B-sides. And, that's not necessarily what I think I would want to do, because I still do have a lot of fun playing the songs people want to hear.
Tonight we're just going to play Radiohead's Kid A in its entirety.
Yeah, that's right.
Just to mess with everybody.
Yeah. No Nightmare tonight, ladies and gentlemen. No Nightmare. Off the list.
So what's going on with the new album? We heard snippets on the website. Are you guys? Is the album going to be out before Pain in the Grass?
We are in the studio every day from morning till night. We are, almost done. You're probably the first people in the whole world to hear that news. We're finishing up. We got a couple more weeks before we head in to start mixing the album. Basically, Shadows has just a handful of songs left to sing, less than that actually, and Gates has just a few more solos to lay down, and it's been going amazing. It's been really, really exciting. By the time we come to your gorgeous gorge, we will be, we should definitely have new material for all to hear and have in your possession.
That's awesome, Zacky. That's great news. I know that people have been patiently waiting, but you guys have also, I think you've said it before, you guys do it right. You put the time in. I think that's really important with any work of art, is you don't rush it out like a year after the last one. It's just crazy.
Well, they don't just write verse, chorus, bridge, chorus.
Yeah.
They go on different journeys. I think it definitely takes time to put together the great songs that you guys put out there.
Well, I appreciate that. Definitely. It's a tedious process, but we do have fun doing it, and our goal, is to make the best music that Avenged Sevenfold can make. And I can honestly say that I'm so thrilled to be in Avenged Sevenfold because of all the music that I hear out there across all platforms. I just truly believe in what we're doing and feel lucky and privileged to be a part of it.
And we're happy that you guys are going to be a part of our Pain in the Grass big concert at the Gorge. Zacky, thank you so much for taking time with us this morning. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. I can't wait to see you guys.
All right, take it easy, Zacky. Hey, this is BJ. Thanks for listening to our show's podcast. If you're a fan of all things geeky, you should check out my other podcast, BJ Shea's Geek Nation. We have new episodes every day, and you can check it out at bjgeeknation.com.